All right. Welcome, everybody, to the first ever STB Duel. We have a bit of a sibling rival special going on here with Sinister Sarah and Nightmare Nick. And we're going to have fun today. We got a lot of good questions. All the marks will be based on creativity, passion, humor, originality. And I'll do my best to be unbiased. And yeah, we'll see. Let the best argument win.
You're going down.
I will. Ow, I just hit my elbow.
Okay, so we're going to start off round one with a fun question here. To do with zombie apocalypse, because zombies are popular nowadays, so the kids tell me. Alright, what superhero would you most want to be in a zombie apocalypse? No Superman, Sentry, Hulk, Dr. Manhattan. Skills, personality, and powers are all factors in this. So, first or last, which would you like to argue?
I'll go first, I might as well.
Okay, so that means Nick is going to be going first for 3 rounds. Let's keep that in mind.
Okay.
Alright, I picked Dream Girl because, well, relatively unknown, but she has the ability to control, like your mind, basically anything, make you do anything. So the reason I thought she'd be ideal is because it trumps zombies because they're under mind control. So if you take them and put them under your mind control, sorry, I'm shaking. If you put them under your mind control, then you trumped zombies, right? So technically, from a survival standpoint, you've won there. And oh yeah, and if this is a comic book universe, then you have other superheroes theoretically. So therefore, your powers are limitless because you can control the other superheroes.
Ooh,
that's giving you that ability of theirs. So.
Wow.
Sinister Sarah.
Okay, so I chose Iron Man. And I chose Iron Man because he's really smart. He seems really level-headed. So I feel like in any situation, whether it was we were being attacked by zombies or people who haven't turned into zombies yet, like they were trying to attack us for whatever reason, he's very level-headed, and I feel like he could not manipulate them, but almost like convince them not to attack us. He's really smart. Genius, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. Boom! He's like, yeah, really cool, really level-headed in like really hectic, heated situations. In like the first Iron Man, he only had like a couple tools and like a few days, and he got out. Like with the minimal tools that he had. He's got a lot of money, so even if, you know, the zombie, like people hadn't turned into zombies yet, he could possibly manipulate them with money and be like, don't do anything to me, I'll give you some money. Like, then maybe that won't be a big deal, but I would want money, so, yeah, he's also a scientist, he's an engineer, he's a business person. Yeah. Oh, and also too, he's saved a lot of people, right? Like he's constantly saving people. So I feel like we could use that as leverage as well to be like, well, we saved you once, we can save you again. Like, do you want to join our posse? And then we could, you know, take over the world. Also, and he's really smart too, that he could possibly try and find a cure for the whole zombie apocalypse that started in the first place. So that's why I chose Iron Man.
Okay, so, Nick.
Is this called a rebuttal?
Yes, this is your rebuttal to Sarah's argument, and then she'll get the chance to defend her.
So this isn't going to be in it. This is the part I try and prove her wrong. It's not about
or just why
mine's
yours
better.
is better.
Well, this is all in it.
Okay.
You can either try and take hers down and also say why yours is better than hers.
Okay. Iron Man, to be honest, would probably be an amazing choice, but like theoretically, any superhero would be awesome to have. And you think about Iron Man's personality, I wouldn't want to be stuck post-apocalyptic zombie wasteland with the guy as selfish and self-centered. as Tony Stark is. Plus, with Dream Girl, she doesn't necessarily have to kill anyone, so in that way she's more passive.
Is that what you want in a zombie apocalypse, though?
Yeah, I'm a passive guy, so
That's gonna be my
no
question.
violence, no violence. You know, I'm a believer in peace. So yeah,
Make love, not war.
find Dream Girl. If she needs to, she can kick your butt, you know, but she has the most easy kind of, I don't even have to do anything to not have to worry about the zombies. She can just think, zombies don't touch me, and then the zombies won't touch her, and she never has to worry about it. Plus, with Iron Man, he is at risk still to, yeah, I mean, he's Iron Man, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, he'll be either alone and by himself, so he won't have, like, a motive to fight evil. So it's like, I don't know what I'm trying to get at. Like, it's, with Dream Girl, she has a solution. With Iron Man, it'd just be, like, total destruction of the world. And, in a way, mind control, you can make them think that they're humans again. So then, in a way, it would kind of trump zombies, whereas Iron Man would kind of just
So you're saying she could
prevent
basically,
being killed.
she could almost stop the whole thing from happening.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Sarah, what do you think?
I think, I mean, I don't really know who Dream Girl is.
Yeah, me
but
neither, but
Oh, okay. But everybody knows who Iron Man is. And the only argument I would have towards you and towards the person that you chose is that zombies aren't really human. They don't have feelings. They don't think like humans think. Oh, sorry. So, I just feel like when you say that she can think and be like, don't attack me anymore, they're not people. So they're zombies. All they think about is killing people. That's it. You know, they don't have any feelings. They don't have any remorse. They don't have any human instincts, right? So it would be hard for her to be like, stop what you're doing if they're not human. You can do that to humans, so I guess she would be good if the humans were turning on you. But a zombie is a zombie. They're not a human. And I think Iron Man would be beneficial if people were turning on me and like humanity was crumbling, and if the zombies were trying to attack me as well. Plus he has like a really nice house, and I am assuming a really good security system, so I feel like that would also be beneficial for people and zombies. So I think that your girl would be great for people, not so much for zombies, and I think Iron Man would be able to help me with people and zombies, which is what you have to consider in a zombie apocalypse.
well, can I just jump in?
I just want to, you can say what you want to say, just real quick.
I was just gonna say it's kind of debatable. I don't even know if she can do stuff with the dead, and I think it's called clairvoyancy, is what the ability to give life to things that don't have it. So like an inanimate object. But with zombies, it's kind of like a iffy area. You know, like, do they have souls, or the person that
Well,
was there?
where did you
died,
come up
know?
with that they are kind of under mind control? Like, what were you basing that off of?
Just the disease. I'm just considering disease mind
Okay,
control.
yeah,
Their
it
brain
affects
is
their
being-
brains because
yeah.
their brains are what basically keeps them going.
Yeah, yeah.
if you
And I'm
destroy their
saying
brain.
that she has that. She can manipulate that ability, so
Okay.
that trumps zombies, right? That's like the the kryptonite to zombies is mind control.
Okay, all right. And final thoughts for you, Sarah?
I just think Iron Man would not only be a cool guy to hang out with, but he's got a lot of money, got a lot of power, not just with people, but with like the suits and his house and things like that. And yeah, just going back to the argument where I think that Iron Man would be able to help me with people who were either trying to take my stuff or kill me or whatever it is, and zombies who were just trying to kill me.
All right, well, I'm definitely ready to make a verdict here. And it was tough. You guys both had good picks, I think. But I think, Nick, you had a pretty good jab at her about Iron Man being self-centered, and maybe that's not the type of guy you'd want to hang out with. As well as you kind of convinced me at the end. I wasn't quite sure what you were talking about with the mind control thing, but you're right. Zombies are it's their brains that do
she did
things.
have a good point saying that is a zombie a human?
Yeah,
Do they have minds at this
and
point?
like the one thing that zombies have in common, right, is their brains. If you destroy them, that's it, right?
Yeah.
And if someone can get inside your head, that's a pretty useful thing to have. So yeah,
And I didn't want to use Xavier because that just seems, I don't know, boring. The guy sitting in a wheelchair in a zombie apocalypse. So I thought someone who could still fight too physically, but
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Nick, you're gonna get the point for the first one.
Wow.
Great.
So congratulations.
Okay. Good job.
I like this.
Hit that record button. All right, so round two. Now we're going to be talking about the best final girl or female protagonist in horror movies. So final girl's kind of like one of those horror movie tropes where you end up with one girl left out of the cast.
virgin.
And the virgin usually. Yeah, they touch on it in Cabin in the Woods. So what I want to know is, who do you think the best final girl is? Character and actor. Give me the movie or multiple movies and argue which was better.
I'm first, right?
Yes,
Yes.
because Nick took first last time.
Okay, so for this question, I thought about it a lot, but I finally decided on Lorraine Warren from The Conjuring. And the reason that I picked her is she's really smart, she's very friendly, she's very motherly, she's a good friend, she's a good co-worker, good partner to Ed. Without her, the movie couldn't have happened, and The Exorcist wouldn't have been as positive as it was, I guess would be a good way to put it.
She convinced him to do it, I think, right?
Not only that, but when it didn't work, she was the one who reminded the mother of the day at the beach, right? We all remember the day at the beach, and she's holding her, and she's not only like loving, but she's compassionate, and I think it is because she's a mother as well. But yeah, like anybody can fight with their fists, you know, but she's smart, she's intelligent, she's clever, she is very loving, she's very kind, she's very nice. So yeah, all around, she seems like a cool lady. She can help you with an exorcist if you ever need to, you know, throw one of those. Yeah, and without her, Ed really couldn't do his job, so that's why I chose her.
Sorry.
All right. Go
So,
ahead.
you're supposed to pick an actress, right? Like an actual real life human being's name, not like a character, or?
It could be either
Well, then
or,
mine would be
like,
Vera Farmiga,
Hers
but-
is Vera
Okay,
Farmiga.
because I was confused. I'm like, who
Oh,
is this?
sorry.
Like I said, it
I
could be
thought-
multiple movies or a single movie.
Because all right, yeah, because I said Jamie Lee Curtis, right? What's her name? Actually, I might as well use her name in Halloween. What is it?
Jeez, I don't even know. We watched that.
We
pretty
need a fact
recently.
checker.
Here, let me see. All right, continue on. I'll let you know when I find it.
Laurie
Laurie,
Strode.
Good job.
there you go.
I think, anyways.
Watch, it's like Heather McPhee or something.
Are we still on? We're still
Yes.
on, right?
Yep, we're
Okay.
going.
All right, yeah. So my choice is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Laurie Strode, you're right.
Yeah. As Laurie Strode, sorry. Yeah.
Okay.
I even put this on my piece of paper. I'll show it to you.
The one you're crinkling a whole bunch?
Yeah. Halloween. Boom. That's all I need to say. But I'll continue.
Not if you want to win.
I'll continue with, she's been in every decent Halloween movie, minus Resurrection. She's always the last girl. Always. Except for Resurrection, she's the first death. But she's also proven herself in many other movies. But this is the cream of the crop. She is the Scream Queen, period, because of Halloween. Halloween is the ultimate slasher. You think of a horror movie, you think of Halloween, you think of, Friday the 13th and all those other ones, but you think of Halloween. So, I mean, she's the longest lady female to ever last in these movies and any other franchise ever. So she's done the role multiple times in a movie that with high credibility. So, yeah.
Okay. So you're saying she's been in multiple movies. she's kind of iconic. She's called the Scream Queen. And Sarah, you're saying basically that the character herself was kind of more a different sort of offshoot of everything Nick's saying. She was more original, basically.
Yeah.
So, I'll give you a chance now to take some shots at Nick's argument there.
Okay. I think it's an okay argument. I just think mine's better. Vera Farmiga, Lorraine Warren, whatever you want to call her, she's only been in one movie, but it was a good movie, and it made a lot of money. It's the third highest grossing movie in like the opening weekend of all time. She didn't run it into the ground, you know, like Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, the first one was good, the second one was okay, and it just went downhill from there. Vera Farmiga, Lorraine Warren, she is only in one movie, and it was really, really, really good. Sierra Zisfield kind of ran it in the ground a little bit. She didn't even want to come back for the one that she got killed off in. She was like, well, I'll come back if you kill me off. Like, that's how sick of it she was, right? She didn't want to do it anymore. I just feel like anybody can be a scream queen. It's not that hard, you just gotta yell. Like, so I don't really think that's something to be too proud of. Like, obviously be proud of it, but, you know, don't be too proud of it. Yeah, I just feel like mine's more original.
Just behind you.
Go away. Mine's more original, and she's helpful. She's not helpless. Yours is, she runs around and she gets chased by the same guy every movie. Go away!
Put him in his little thing.
And I'm trying to argue here.
I'm sorry.
And yours, like mine, like I said, she's helpful. She helps Ed. She helps in the situation. The situation couldn't have happened, or the situation couldn't have worked out if it wasn't for her. Your girl is more just a victim, and mine helps the victim. So I feel like if our two girls were in the same movie, your girl would be the one running down the street, and my girl would be the one helping yours. That's all I have to say.
All right.
I have to say one thing though. I mean, not everyone loved The Conjuring. You know, I'm one of them. I honestly am not a huge fan of the movie. So it's subjective. Film is always subjective. But I find, from an iconic standpoint, you think of Ripley from Aliens, Jamie Lee Curtis when you think of... I mean, I'm talking classics too. I'm thinking, like, movie history and all of history of movies. Like, these are the names. These are the females. Because now it's females. It's easier for females. I don't know. I don't want to come off sexist, but it's easier for females to get certain roles and different, more expanded roles, other than the cliche, oh, I'm helpless, or whatever, you know, your cliche horror movie tropes. But with her, she's not. She kind of introduced the virgin, you know, like the person that's going to survive. And I don't know, that could be misguided information, but I'm pretty sure, because it was in 70s, and there hadn't been that many slasher films at this point. This is the origin of slashers, so I know that's not the question, is slasher, it's horror in general, but she's been in the most iconic franchise, in the most movies, or tied with, than any other female in a horror movie. Plus, she's always survived. Halloween Resurrection, I don't even want to talk about that, because that shouldn't even count. She was on the front cover, and she was in it for the first 5 minutes. So it's like, I won't even consider that. But you're not going to consider Halloween 2, the one by Rob Zombie, or Halloween, what was one? Oh, 3. You know, like, you're not, they're decent, kind of, but, you know, they're not, they're the worst of the best. And I find she just defines that role. Laurie Strode, she's just, that's her archetype, is the Scream Queen, but not necessarily the damsel in distress, the one that's getting chased, constantly being harassed. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I gotta make a decision, and again, I like both of your arguments. I think they were really different, once again. So the only problem I have is she is, Jamie Lee Curtis is super iconic. and I think it's a cool fact you threw in that she's tied for the most sort of horror movie roles. But I think Sarah kind of nailed it with, she fights with more than her fists. She would run towards the danger rather than away from it. And she's not really like a scream queen, because I think nowadays that's not what you want to see as much. You want to see stronger roles. So just for that reason, I think, Sarah, you get the point for this one.
And Vera Farmiga's a lot hotter, but...
Yeah. No, that was another tough one, because you were right. Like, she's been in so much stuff.
If you were on the fence, I was just going to come with, like, Psycho was the original slasher. Your girl just kind of rode on that bandwagon, and my girl made it better.
Well, like, the slasher as in, like, the group of kids getting hacked off one by one slasher formula, like that kind of, the stoners. The people that have
the
sex.
Virgin, yeah.
Yeah, the virgin, the nerd, and then what?
So I won!
You won. You got a point. All right, Nick?
Do you want
to... All right, so round 3. And this is one we took right out of Movie Fights, which clearly this whole concept's been inspired by.
No.
Do some shout-outs?
So, the next question is, the best movie vehicle of all time. Planes, trains, automobiles, spaceships, anything. What is the best movie vehicle of all time? And this one goes to Nick.
Well, thank you. All right, I picked the Batmobile because it's the Batmobile. That was one of my points, actually. So, but yeah, this was a pretty broad question, so I didn't know how to go about it, but I thought the vehicle that once you see it, you know what it is. Like, the Batmobile, you look at it, you know it's Batman's go-to vehicle. Like, I can't think of another vehicle that is as recognizable. That's why I picked this, is because of its recognizability. That's a word.
I'm pretty sure it's a word.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's the Batmobile. Like, it's not Batman's vehicle of choice for no reason. He's the ultimate detective. He's one of the coolest superheroes of all time. So this vehicle has to be cool. Like, it's obviously got some amazing perks from a practicality point of view. So, like, the mobility, its ability to fight and all that stuff, but it's also cool looking, and it just got so many practical uses, plus its iconic status. So,
okay, Batmobile. Strong answer. Sarah?
I picked the Millennium Falcon, which is, from what I understand, the fastest ship in the galaxy. So there's that. I also had a really tough time with this question. Because it was so general, and also because I don't really know a lot about vehicles and spaceships and stuff. But this was the only answer that stuck with me. Like, I didn't know how to answer this question. I didn't know what I was going to say, but I knew that there was one vehicle, one spaceship that I did kind of know a little bit about, and I knew it from Star Wars, but I couldn't really remember the name, so I looked it up and I was like, oh yeah, the Millennium Falcon. So, just like you said, mine's memorable, mine's popular. It's, you can't look at it and not think of Star Wars, right? Which is one of the most popular movies of all time. Also, yeah, the ship's a little run down and it's, not very pretty to look at and all that kind of stuff. But I think that also fits with the crew as well. They're a bunch of misfits. They're,
ragtag.
They're like, they're not the most popular. They're not the prettiest to look at. So I think it's kind of cute how it sort of fits in, right? It's the ship that fits them. Like, if they were on the Batmobile, it would just look funny, right? So that's why I chose the Millennium Falcon. Yeah.
All right, another good one.
Oh,
Batmobile versus Millennium Falcon. So, Nick, why is yours better?
Because I feel like when you hear the word Millennium Falcon, you know what it is, but when you see it, not everyone will know. Like, for me, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. There's a lot of people that aren't huge Star Wars fans, but almost every human being knows who Batman is. And even if you're a child or you're an old person, no offense, you'll know what it is. There's the Adam West Batman mobile, like he has the vehicle there, and you see it go through each generation, so it's almost like I don't know how to explain it, but it's like a part of our society now. You see like the 50s version of the Batmobile, then you see it move up to like the 80s and the Tim Burton era where it looks like a Hot Wheels car, and then you get to the Tumbler and the Dark Knight. So you see the evolution. It's kind of like, okay, the first one's goofy and it's just like, oh, it's got bats on it. Second one, it's like, okay, it's got some cool little perks to it. And then the third one, it's like, this is a badass vehicle. It has rockets, it has everything. So you see the evolution of our society with the Batmobile, almost, because, I don't know, like, it's evolved. There's no definitive Batmobile, so that's why I think it's so iconic. And with the Millennium Falcon, it's not really a recognizable vehicle. It is to lots of people, but not as much as the Batmobile. So it's more the name for me. Millennium Falcon sticks more than the actual visualization of the ship. So.
Okay, Sarah, you're free to take down the Batmobile. Good luck.
Hey! Okay.
I'm just saying it's cool, but Millennium Falcon is very cool too.
All right. What I would say to yours is that you said that your Batmobile has had to evolve. Mine hasn't. It hasn't changed. It's perfect the way it is. It fits with the movie. It fits with the group. It's used for smuggling. It's not supposed to be pretty. It's not supposed to stand out. It's supposed to be, quiet in the way that it looks. Mine also has been very popular in pop culture. There's lots of toys. Even Joss Whedon credits the Millennium Falcon as one of his 2 primary inspirations for his Firefly show. So not only that, but Lego has also made toys and for the Millennium Falcon. I guess I would just go back to, I think it's like the perfect ship for the people who are driving it. Batman has always been cool. He's always been rich and scary. But his Batmobile hasn't always been like that. That's why it's had to evolve. Mine has always been perfect for the crew that's driving it. So.
Okay.
Can I rebuttal one quick thing?
Go ahead. You have one
about
more.
the evolving, it doesn't have to. That's what I was saying. It's not that it has to evolve to stay with society. It's that it's such a part of society. It has evolved inevitably. So the reason I said like they all look different and there's no definitive one is because there's one for every time. There's only one Millennium Falcon, yes, but it's not as iconic because it's just a spaceship. Like I'm sure I don't know too much about the Millennium Falcon, but isn't it just like any other ship, or is it like it's kind of like
it's got a lot of character, and yes, it's supposed to be a lot faster than it looks,
but it's I don't know.
You underestimate it when you see it.
But see, with the Batmobile, you know what you're in for when you see it, and I find from an iconic standpoint, put the Batmobile beside the Millennium Falcon, and not with like the Star Wars logos or anything, just the 2 vehicles side by side. I guarantee more people would recognize the Batmobile and like it more than the Millennium Falcon.
I just think people would recognize the Millennium Falcon more because it hasn't changed. Batmobile has changed so many times. I wouldn't know which one I'm looking at. I wouldn't be able to say, oh, this is the Batmobile from when George Clooney was Batman. I wouldn't be able to choose. Mine hasn't changed because it hasn't needed to.
Nobody likes the George Clooney Batmobile.
Everybody likes the Millennium Falcon.
Anyways, yeah.
Wait, is the Millennium Falcon in the prequels?
No, I don't think it makes any appearance.
Well, I guess they did do something right then.
So, I am ready to make a decision, and again, it was tough, but Nick, I think your strongest argument was that it has changed over the years, and that's been very cool and interesting to watch. At the same time, though, I think that because of that, your other argument about it being more recognizable, I think that's so hard to tell because Star Wars and Batman are so popular. Like, there's so many people that know about this stuff. So I think that one was a little bit weaker, and it kind of took away from your iconic status because there's been so many.
I don't know where he's going with this.
With yours, yes, it's had less appearances. The Batmobile's been in more stuff. It's been in comics, TV, movies. I guess you could say the same sort of with the Millennium Falcon. But I really liked your arguments about it being perfect for the crew and the fact that it hasn't had to evolve because they got it right. You know, like this is the ship. It's unassuming. It's driven around by a bunch of rebels, like space rebels. And it's fast, it's deadly, and I think you get the point for that.
Yay! I'm so
Biased
excited.
Star Wars nerd opinions.
Hey, honestly, I like the Batmobile more. I do, but I think that the argument.
Yeah, this is
Was
the argument. This was the one question I was.
Oh, I thought this was my weakest one too.
Like
had no
I
idea.
liked your arguments a lot. I just thought that it conflicted a bit too much, and I liked that she stuck to her guns on saying like you don't have to change this thing. So
Yeah,
Woo!
I was just trying to like say like it's morphing to the time. You know, like it's
And
not.
that
Oh,
is-
I thought
that
yours.
is
I thought
really
all your
cool.
points were really good.
Yeah,
but-
no, and they really were. It's just that it's like it's almost like there's a collection of Batmobiles when you think about it.
And plus, there's. I mean, Star Wars with the Millennium Falcon. There's never been a shitty movie. So
and you
Like-
could say that you could have a question just what's the best Batmobile even
Yeah.
that would be another
Yeah.
good one.
I think because this was so general too, it was hard. So
should I turn it off?
yeah,
Good
hit
fight.
the thing. Red button, we're rolling.
Who's going first? Is it you?
I'm this time, I think.
Yeah, because then it goes back to Nick.
Yeah.
He has 3. Okay, so now it is round 4. Round
Ding, ding,
4,
ding.
second last round. Ding ding. All right, so this one is a romantic question. And it is name 2 movie stars to play the ultimate on-screen couple. You can give me a little bit of an idea of what kind of movie, if you want. It's romance movies, they're all kind of the same anyways, so it doesn't matter that much. But 2 people that you think would have really good chemistry, and I need you to tell me why.
Okay. Okay, so I'll just tell you my people first. I chose Charlize Theron and Matthew Good. I picked them because they're both beautiful, especially her. He is super handsome as well. I feel like they're both a little underrated, especially the movies that Charlize does. They're, like, besides Monster, they haven't been overly popular. They're both amazing actors, and they both can be funny when they need to be. They can be romantic when they need to be. They can be serious when they need to be. Charlize was in Monster. Matthew was in Stoker. Charlize was in A Million Ways to Die in the West, and she was really funny in that. Matthew was in The Imitation Game, and he was funny in that. Charlize was in Prometheus. Matthew was in The Watchmen, which is a little more like comic sci-fi and still serious. And then as for romantic comedies, because this is supposed to be kind of like a romance couple, Charlize was in The Italian Job and Matthew was in Leap Year, which is a romantic comedy with Amy Adams. So they're both really versatile. And I think they're versatile because they're so good at acting and they can take on any role. So I feel like whatever you were to throw them into, they would take it and do an amazing job. So that's why I chose them.
Okay.
Boring. No, I'm just kidding. All right.
All right.
So I picked 2 fairly well-known actors. They're still before their prime, in my opinion. So that's why I picked them. But it's Tom Hardy and Margot.
Margot.
It's Margot
Margot.
with a T.
Yeah.
The T is
Margot.
silent.
Oh, that's why. Okay. That just made me look stupid. But Margot Robbie with the T. The reason I picked these 2 is because I'm not a homosexual, I'll go on record saying that, but I find Tom Hardy to be sort of attractive from a man crush point of view. I think he's a good looking guy. Plus, Margot Robbie, there's no doubt, she's one of the sexiest women living right now. So, from a romantic, like a couple standpoint, that alone they're good enough with their looks alone. But with their acting chops, especially Tom Hardy, pulling off some of the greatest dramatic roles of the last 10 years, including The Dark Knight, some other ones that maybe not as critically acclaimed, but This Means War, a romantic comedy, Black Hawk Down, a war movie, everyone knows about that, he's gonna be in the new Mad Max, and he's lined up to be in a bunch of Marvel and DC
Opposite
movies.
Charlize Theron, actually.
Opposite
Oh,
my
really?
girl. Yeah.
Oh. And then, unfortunately, Margot Robbie was in Focus, which it is a romantic thriller or drama. I don't even know what they were going for, but it has something to do with relationships. So
Did you say he was going to be in Marvel?
he's lined up for a few roles, yes. And they keep
I
switching.
know he's going to
but-
be in Suicide Squad, actually.
But they changed. He took him
changed
out.
it?
Yeah.
They took
So
him
that's
out?
why
Okay.
I know he's going to be in something. I think it's
Okay.
the new X-Men.
Yeah, he probably gave
I
it
think-
up for another
Yeah,
superhero.
but I know he's going to be like a huge super villain, and he pulls
Okay.
off the villain really well. So, but this movie, it would be more of a Gone Girl-esque movie. It wouldn't be your typical rom-com. It would have to be some moments of funniness, but the movie would have to be pretty serious and dramatic and intense, like Gone Girl. So that would be the ideal movie for them. Not saying that any movie these two were in would be amazing. It could, but the best ideal movie for them, that would be the movie. So
Okay. Now, you can get a chance for a rebuttal here, and make sure you guys both in these ones tell me why you think yours would be great together as well. So,
Okay.
like their chemistry, right?
yeah, their chemistry. Tell me what you think, why, something about it.
Sure. Okay, so I think that Charlize Theron and Matthew Good would be good together, because they've both done totally different roles and similar roles, and some of the movies that Charlize has been in haven't been that great, but she's always been the best part of that movie. So even if the story sucks, even if, you know, it didn't do very well at the box office, I've always wanted to go because she's in it.
It's like the Nicolas Cage of movies.
But she's not, because she has done some really good movies. Like, look at Monster, look at A Million Ways to Die in the West. Like, those were really good movies. I think they would also be really good together, because even if they didn't have chemistry in real life, their acting is good enough that they could fake it if they needed to. I feel like they're both very mature, and they both really appreciate the jobs that they have. You know, like they get to act for a living. They appreciate that. They love their jobs, and they're really passionate about it. I just feel like yours are a little naive. They're young. They don't know really what they want, you know? Margot Robbie has been in Wolf of Wall Street, which was an incredible movie, but she played kind of like the sexy wife, which if you're hot, it's not that hard to play. You don't have to be a good actor to play the sexy wife. Yeah, so I just feel like she's a little naive. She doesn't really know what she wants. You had to give an ideal movie for your on-screen couple. You could throw my couple into any movie and they would kill it. They would be able to act.
Okay.
They would be able to...
I gotta stop you there, because Nick's gotta get something in, because we're running out of time on our thing here, so...
All right. I will say though that they're young and they both scream sex appeal. Not to be weird, but they both they're almost sex symbols in themselves. Especially Margot Robbie after her performance in The Wolf of Wall Street. I think that she might get typecast as that girl, but that's what I'd want. And for this, I want them to be in a good movie. I find that they would play off each other way better with a good director, with a well-made production. And like you said, with Charlize Theron and them, they could be in any movie, but these guys have standards and they won't go to any other movie. So
I just
the
feel like
movie
yours
would
are high
be,
maintenance.
but I would disagree on that, because how is Charlize Theron not high maintenance compared to Margot Robbie? How do you know any of this definitively? I find their chemistry, they would have some chemistry. They're both young, they're both good looking, and they both are dramatic actors. So dramatic meaning they can fake, like you said, they could fake it. But I feel like they would have some chemistry. I feel like with Matthew Good and Charlize Theron, they're both, I don't really know a lot about Matthew Good. He's the really smart guy in Watchmen, right? Okay, yeah. So they're
Yeah,
kind
he
of
is.
older, and I feel like that shouldn't have an effect on them. But the fact that they're older, this is a younger demographic that would appeal to this, you know. So the age,
Okay.
it would also be a disadvantage for yours. I think.
So, yeah, that's good on both. Again, both really good arguments. I got to make a ruling though before we run out of screen time here. We're gonna have to take a break and load some of this onto the computer. But there was maybe like one thing about the arguments that kind of tipped the scales a bit. But first, let me say, Charlize Theron and Matthew Good, they're both very mature. You're right. And I don't know if we've seen a comedic side, maybe a little bit in the Imitation Game with Matthew Good, but Charlize Theron can definitely pull off funny. We know that. I just think that they are kind of, if you put two actors like this together, I'm not sure I'd want to see them in a romantic role or a romantic comedy. And I really liked what you said about putting yours in sort of a universe where it's like a Gone Girl, where there's darker sides to the story. And I think that could work, because if you had like a romantic story with an edge to it like that, these characters are both probably going to play villains, so there's like a darker side to them, and I think that would be really fun to see. And they are young, and they are in high demand, so I think the chemistry would kind of work with those two. So just by a hair, it was Nick on that one. But that was,
We shake after
that was
everyone.
really tough, because you picked like two of my favorite actors. And
Yeah, I was just trying to go for
They're people's favorite for a reason.
best.
what does it say there? Sarah, will you lean in? It says 1 minute 53.
41.
Okay, hit the button.
Now you're trying to look normal.
All right, so here we are, the final round. It's all tied up, 2-2. And this one's for all the marbles,
For the big W.
as they say, for the win. So, this is our biggest question, and hopefully everyone's prepared a nice long answer. And it is, pitch a team-up movie between a character from the Marvel Cinematic Universe and a character from the DC Cinematic Universe. So, to do this, you could have Googled upcoming Marvel or DC movie lineups, or chose from an existing Marvel DC movie. And also, as a addition to this, the actors who played the superheroes have to be the same as in your movie. So if you
You picked Captain America. It'd have to
Captain
be Chris
America, it would
Evans.
be Chris Evans. Or if you had Spider-Man, you could have picked between one or the other, whether you wanted Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield.
I don't think anybody wants Tobey Maguire.
No, sorry, Tobey Maguire.
Well, I think he's a better Spider-Man, but that's my opinion.
That's an argument for another day.
Movie fight. Okay, so again, it is Nick, because you chose to go first, so you have the 3-fight startup, and this is the last one. So go ahead. Pitch us your
Alright.
movie.
Well, my movie, it would tie in with the Avengers 2 theoretical end credit scene. So the end credit scene, this is actually, it could happen. So it's the Hulk gets shot out into space and lands on Planet Hulk. I'm sorry, I'm not too inclined with the whole Planet Hulk comic series, but I know that he gets brainwashed by Thanos. So that's what the gist of the end credit scene would be, is him confronting Thanos. Then the story would begin. Oh yeah, have I even said who's in my movie?
You've got Hulk.
Well, Hulk and
obviously.
Thanos.
I'm sorry, Hulk versus Doomsday. That's my movie. Planet Hulk versus Doomsday.
Okay.
Sorry about that. The movie will begin on Planet Hulk, and it'll be a shuttle falling from space, landing in a distant area, and the Hulk and Thanos notice it. Hulk is with Thanos guarding him, and then it cuts out to black. Then you get a sort of an origin story for Doomsday, because in my opinion he is one of the coolest, most underrated villains of all time. He's the only villain that's never really been defeated. He's the only villain that is basically an evil version of the Hulk, but probably more powerful. You can even wrap your mind around that. So, can I go through my whole pilot? Like it's
Go through your pitches, your
it'll
movie.
be the original comic book adaptation of Doomsday's origin. So it'd be the scientist, forget his name, I think it starts with a B, creates this thing, soon to be Doomsday, puts him out in Kryptonian atmosphere. This is all going to be in the movie after that first intro scene. So, yeah, he keeps sending him out into the Kryptonian atmosphere, and he keeps dying, and they keep reanimating him and making him evolve to it constantly, so that he will inherit that ability to be able to evolve to anything, limitless. So he eventually despises the scientist, grows so powerful that he can't be contained, kills the scientist, kills everyone involved, and then instantly just starts destroying the universe. No motive, just starts destroying the universe. Then he lands on an advanced species planet. Sorry, I don't know the name, but it is in the comic books. They trap Doomsday, or they create the super being, kind of like Dr. Manhattan, to encase Doomsday into this armor that's impossible to break out of. Send him across the universe. He's flying through there for millions of years, and then he lands on Earth, stuck there for a while. Eventually, breaks out of it. The entire time he's trying to break out of this case too, like he's alive and fully conscious. So for literally millions of years, he's just been punching, trying to break out of this case. So that's kind of just mind-blowing, but yeah, eventually escapes by force and destroys entire Justice League, like nothing, like just completely kills all of them. Then eventually the first climax of the movie would be the Superman versus Doomsday fight, which I know this was two characters from DC and Marvel, but I felt like this would fill in the origin story because everyone knows Hulk. So the Doomsday origin story would take up the majority of this movie, and it would be the whole him growing up, him taking out the Justice League, killing Superman, and then it would be his adventure out into and then it would cut back to the first scene with Thanos, Hulk, and then the shuttle. And then it pops out the shuttle, it's Doomsday, then Hulk hops over, they start going at it. And this whole time, I'm assuming the Hulk is brainwashed by Thanos, alright? So, they're both technically evil. Hulk is the only good person really left, but he's brainwashed. So that's the general conflict between them. And that gives Doomsday the edge, because Doomsday's just an animal. He's just there to kill and destroy. And the Hulk starts having convoluted feelings about what's going on, his brainwashy thing. He's getting hit so hard that it's starting to malfunction and whatnot. Then, eventually, Thanos comes over and starts duking it out with Doomsday, because Hulk gets kind of flung off when Thanos first gets there. Then Thanos somehow, don't want to get into specifics, knocks Doomsday out into outer space, because Thanos, even by comparison, I think is still a lot stronger than Doomsday. He may not be as limitless as Doomsday, but he's definitely more powerful initially than Doomsday. So he would punch Doomsday, knock him into outer space, and Thanos would look over and the Hulk is gone. And the Hulk, it would be revealed that the Hulk has finally realized that he was brainwashed, that he's kind of got out of it, and now that he's going to go fight evil now. Like, he's kind of back to the original Hulk. But yeah, this is the basic gist of this. And then I haven't thought of a planet yet, but the end credit scene would be Doomsday flying through, encased in ice, still flying through the universe, and then it would be like on him, and then it would pan over and you would see a planet. Haven't thought of a planet yet, but it would have to be some kind of iconic planet to tie into another movie. So I'm not too comic book, like I don't know too much, yeah, but that would be the end. So it would lead into like the next battle. So yeah.
Very specific.
Yep.
All right. Mine is not even close to that specific, but I actually chose two good guys. I didn't choose like a villain and a good guy.
Yeah.
But there's still conflict, obviously, in my movie. But I picked Iron Man, again, and Aquaman. And the issue could be some sort of disaster. I don't care what it is. It could be famine. It could be overpopulation. It could be two rulers, conflicting. Yeah, it doesn't matter what it is. The gist of it, stuff's starting to happen. There's kind of like a World War III. It doesn't have to be World War III, but that's the issue. So there's a big
Global conflict.
Yeah, and it's everywhere, whole world. And I picked Iron Man and Aquaman because I think it's kind of the best of both worlds. I think Iron Man would be the most beneficial on land, and obviously Aquaman is most beneficial in the deep sea.
So they're working together?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah, they're buddies. Yeah, so I didn't really get like too specific or anything, but it's what it is. Yeah.
Alright, so you've got them working together.
Yeah. I want them working together too, because they, like I said, right, I think it's the best of both worlds. If we needed to do something in the sea, we got Aquaman there. If we need to do something on land, we have Iron Man. And the reason why I actually wrote this down, the reason why I didn't pick Superman or Batman or Hulk is I feel they get too emotional. You know, like they're too...
I'm superpowered. I have problems.
Yeah, they're moody, but like in a boring way. Like Aquaman...
Melodramatic, kind of.
Yeah, the guy who plays, or who's going to be playing Aquaman in 2018, Jason Momoa?
The big guy.
Yeah. He's like broody, but in like a sexy, fun way. You know, it's not like broody like, oh, I feel bad for him. He's broody, and he has like drive. He has determination kind of thing, so I think they would work really well together. But yeah, that's my movie.
Can I quickly clarify? It'd be Mark Ruffalo and then a voice actor for Doomsday. Because you can't really
Let's
have
just say
someone...
the voice actor from the animated Superman
Yeah, like
versus
anyone with
Doomsday
a
thing.
cool, deep, dark voice.
Yeah,
like a
'cause I don't
scary
think
voice.
he says too much,
Morgan
at least
Freeman.
in the movie
Yeah, and he's
I
not
watched.
smart. He's not a smart person.
Yeah,
He's
he's
not
just kind of
talking
this-
at all, really. He's
almost like a
grunting
force.
and stuff, right? Like,
Yeah, so yeah, Doomsday wouldn't exactly be an actor, mostly CG and stuff. Okay, so yeah, we've got your actors, we've got your actors.
and one thing I was gonna say, if that was Iron Man versus Aquaman, I would have said that was stupid because Iron Man would die because Aquaman has magic, and magic trumps almost everything in Marvel universe, even Superman, right? So, or not Marvel, but like comic universe. But,
Well, that's why I wanted them together, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, so you
Thank
guys
you.
took a different spin on it.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So-
you have kind of a versus thing, and she's got more of a team up.
Mine is a versus, but it's not versus a person. It's versus a crisis, a conflict. So
Okay, so quickly take some shots at Sarah and vice versa afterwards. And
All right. I just find that you don't have a real plot to your story. You have a general synopsis, but you don't. There's no villain in your story. There's no other person. With me, I love villains. I think that villains are basically why I go see in the movie. Like, just because it always is the next hardest obstacle for that superhero to get over, so you have to one-up the villain. So I find the villain is almost the most important thing. And Doomsday is like, he's just so powerful and omnipotent almost. Like, he just can't die. Like, he literally can't die. You could kill him and then he'll just regenerate. Right? He's kind of like Ultron. With yours, I find it's kind of like, what's the word? Go happy, feel lucky, kind of.
happy-go-lucky.
Yeah. It just feels like that kind of a movie, and Iron Man is not the one to team up with anyone. He had a hard time when the Avengers, let alone
he still teamed up with them.
out of the like spite, kind of like he didn't really want to at first, and then all that stuff with the ship falling and stuff happened, and then he was forced to. But it still reflects his personality. I find mine would be, I don't know if yours would be more of a traditional Marvel movie. Mine would be just like on a whole nother, I'm looking at another scale, like planets almost being destroyed and actual superheroes dying, not, oh, they died and then half an hour later they're back alive because of some drug that kept their heart rate really low. But yeah, I feel like it'd be a lot more gritty. Yours just doesn't seem to have too much of a plot with the villain. Yeah.
Okay. I think because you got so specific, you have a lot of plot holes. You mentioned that the box can't be broken. You can't break the box. That was one of the big things. But then 3 seconds later, you say, he breaks out of the box. There's a little bit of a plot hole there. Just didn't go into too many specifics because I'm not a director. I'm not a writer. I think I came up with a pretty cool concept, but then I would pass that along to someone who does know what they're doing. And I don't like Mark Ruffalo at all. I don't like him as an actor. I don't think he's that good.
You would never see him because he's playing a Hulk. He's stuck in Hulk. He's evil. You would never see
Is he
Mark
really?
Ruffalo.
Because he had a plot hole before. You might have one again.
Go on.
Just
Sarah.
kidding.
Sorry.
I do think Iron Man would team up. Because he is so selfish, I feel like he would want his lifestyle back, right? He would want his money to be worth something. He would want those possessions again. So I think that gives him the drive to resolve this conflict. I feel like your movie's also a little been there, done that kind of thing. But I don't think we've really seen two characters like Iron Man and Aquaman team up to do something that isn't fighting a villain. We've seen that before, you know? Here's the Avengers, they're gonna fight a villain. It's happened before, it's happening again. I feel like mine's a little newer, a little fresh. It's a different take on it. And I just feel like yours is a little confusing too. There's a lot of characters, there's a lot of stuff going on. It seems to go over a long span of time. You mentioned millions of years. So I just feel like you did a good job. Like, it sounds like an interesting movie. I just feel like mine doesn't have any plot holes. It's a different take. It's fresh. And I feel like I have two really good actors as well.
Okay, I'm going to stop there for a second. Nick, can you just hit the record button? We're good. Okay. All right, so this one I don't want to jump to an answer just yet. I want a little bit more. And I just want to say, kind of in the middle here, which way I'm kind of leaning. And actually, I won't say where I'm leaning yet, but we need to find out too, like how this would actually become a reality too. Like, I want you to tell me why the studios would decide to do your movie as a crossover, because really it would be tough to convince them to do this, to combine
the amount of
the movies. Like, there's different studios involved, it would probably never happen. But tell me why yours is more realistic that this would actually happen.
Am I going first or are you going first?
I think I went first, didn't I?
You
So
you just finished your thing, right? So I think it's Nick now.
All right. We're recording. Oh,
Yeah, we're
okay.
recording. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I feel like this would be an ideal movie to be made because it takes two unlimited beings from both sides. The Doomsday character was Hulk before Hulk was really... Well, I mean, I don't even know which one was created first, but they're both Hulks. He's just an evil Hulk. So just pinning two unlimitedly powered beings against each other, that makes your options limitless. Therefore, the director has so much space to work with because anything could happen. And I know it's a little bland because it's like, well, they're just going to be beating each other up. But you could take it to different settings. You could throw in different characters. The Hulk has his backstory. You don't need to waste any time telling the Hulk story. The Hulk is the Hulk. And that alone, his name versus a DC villain, that alone would be more appealing than Aquaman and Iron Man, I think, because it's the Hulk versus the Hulk, right? It's the Hulk versus evil Hulk, and an epic kind of like huge scale fight, right? Like, it's just two unlimited, they're basically the most powerful superheroes or super beings, right? So that's subjective, but I'm pretty sure evolving to anything and having no limit, that makes you the most powerful. The fact that Doomsday has killed Superman, he has that notoriety of just being so empathetic, so that he is a complete, what's the word? Complete opposite, like the complete arc of any superhero. He has no logic, he has no feelings, he just kills. That's all he's thinking, that's all he's programmed to do. So I find Hulk, he kind of has that problem within himself, that convoluted feeling like he's the Hulk, he hurts people, but he is a good person. But with the Doomsday, that kind of throws that whole like gray area out of the window, and it's just like he is insane. So it kind of, I don't know, puts Hulk in a situation. You'll see Hulk in a new light because he'll be possessed. Then you'll see evil Planet Hulk. Then you'd see good Hulk. You'd see Doomsday and his origin. You would see Superman and all the Justice League being destroyed. And I mean, the entire Justice League could be anything, right? Like, it changes, right? And they could have only 3 people in it. But
Okay.
yeah, that's the amount of characters in my story and their different sides.
So you think that would be what would
That would
attract
appeal
them?
to studios way more than just another kind of crossover.
Okay. Sarah, what do you think?
I think my movie would be appealing to studios because we haven't really seen much from Jason Momoa. And studios paid a lot of money to get Robert Downey Jr. because he's a good actor, and the movies that he's in make a lot of money. I also think that my movie is different. I haven't heard anything about that, and I would never have thought of putting Iron Man and Aquaman together, but I think it works. I'm also not killing anybody off, and I feel like because you did mention that you were going to kill people off, you're going to piss a lot of people off. I'm not killing anybody. I'm leaving it open for sequels. I'm leaving it open to make more money. I'm leaving it open for more stories, for, you know, if other people want to come in, come on in. It's open-ended. For yours, you're kind of closing that door, and I feel like you're not going to make money. And you might not even make money off of this movie because people are going to be pissed that you're killing off their favorite characters, right? So,
But-
in mind, even though it is, you know, a feel-good movie, if you want to put it that way, I'm trying to make the most people happy, which is going to make me the most money by not killing off people's favorite characters.
Can I say something? Killing is a loose term in the Marvel Universe because they do bring Superman back to life. So, I mean, he did die, but he got
In
revived.
the DC universe, but yeah.
Or, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Just before we get any angry comments.
But yeah, like they bring all of them back to life. So it's not closing that door. Plus, my end credit scene would be leading into another Doomsday and another Avengers or Marvel or DC movie. So mine actually would lead into more movies, and it would open up more doors because now you have a new perspective of the Hulk. And of all the Justice League, you know they're vulnerable because I'm sick and tired of seeing all these superheroes never having to like beat a sweat over a guy, and whenever you see someone die, you never know for sure if anyone's dead. So I mean, it spins it around, and I want to reinvent it so that it's not always like, oh yeah, we know they're gonna win by the end. It's kind of like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, yeah, they're probably gonna win, but I don't know who's gonna lose in the process. Like, so that's why I just find like, and I've seen videos of theory, like so many fan theories between these two characters, like Hulk and Doomsday. There's so many people that want to see something like that because they're very similar, but they're polar opposites with their morals. So it's like, it's kind of like people want to see the two impossible to beat villain or people to go head to head, right? To see that unbeatable battle happen between, because if you see any other superhero, they could die, right? There's always, with the Hulk, you always know the Hulk's gonna win almost. Like, every time the Hulk will come over on top, but with Doomsday, now he's got, like, someone who is probably superior in strength. So, I mean, you gotta think about the innovation of the comic book genre and trying to stray away from the Iron Man. I don't know, I just find Tony Stark's getting a little redundant, and that ties in with your point that he just appeals to younger kids, I find. And I would want to be getting I'm looking at a gritty film, which seems to be appealing to studios nowadays.
So yours is going to be a little more violent, it's going to be a big scale, and their stakes are going to be high.
Some people are legitimately going to die, but not anyone too big. You don't want to kill off Superman.
All right.
But
Okay, so I'm going to count that as your final thought,
All right.
and since you got that, I'm going to let Sarah get in a little bit more if you want, and then I'll make my decision.
Okay. I just think my movie concept is cut and dry. It's this is what I want to happen. This is who I want in it. And, you know, if you want to add a little bit into that, add it into that. I don't know how to do that. That's why I didn't go into too many details. With yours, I just feel like every time I argue something that I maybe missed or don't agree with, you kind of seem to go back on it, right? So you're like, well, we're going to kill people off, but we're not going to kill off anybody good. Or maybe we won't kill off anybody. So it's now getting a little confusing to me. It's a little, there's characters, but there might not be characters. It's a little confusing with mine. This is what I want to happen. This is who I want in it. And that's it. So I feel like you have quite a few plot holes. I don't, but yeah, just once again, don't kill off people that fans are going to like. The Hulk always wins because the fans want Hulk to win. They don't want to see him get beat up, right? Or die. They want there to be open-ended, some more movies and more Hulk, and yeah, you don't want to see your favorite character die. Like that's.
Can I say one last point, and it won't help either of us? It's just a point.
Okay, just
There will be plot holes in a movie when there's two universes being crossed. When Hulk meets Doomsday, there's going to be so many questions, and it's kind of like, let it go.
Yeah.
Just, they're
fair
fine.
enough. There's
going to be
it's all
so many
theoretical.
plot holes in a DC Marvel crossover.
And I'm glad you guys took it so seriously, Nick. That was very detailed. And no,
I don't want to see this movie.
Yeah. No, they both sound like cool movies. I like, just getting into my kind of wrap up here, I like yours how it's open-ended. I mean, there's a lot that I can see going on with that. And I think it's a strange matchup, which could kind of work. And I like the idea of kind of Iron Man patrolling the skies and, you know, taking care of the land, and Aquaman on the sea, and kind of like them fighting on different fronts, but as a team. I like yours, how the conflict is such a like huge scale because they're like the most powerful beings, let's say, from each of their universes, and how Doomsday does keep coming back. The only thing is, we did kind of see Abomination and Hulk fight in the Incredible Hulk movie, and he's kind of like a discount, I guess, version of Doomsday, and but like very similar looking and stuff like that. You could tell they were kind of going for something like that.
He can speak though, can he? Like he talks.
Yeah, I think he can. And he's not the same.
He's
character.
more like the Hulk though, isn't he?
He's
like
more kind of a
he got the
straight
same
up,
thing as the Hulk.
Yeah, more or less. So, really though, I think for two reasons, I think I'm leaning towards Sarah a little bit more, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Because I know you put so much work into that and it sounded really cool, but the only thing that I kind of wasn't a fan of, and it wasn't brought up, so I'm not counting this one against you, this had nothing to do with my decision, but I just wasn't a huge fan of how yours didn't quite have the conclusion. Like, I would have liked to see somebody win at the end.
Yeah, and with that, the scale is so huge, you need some really nerdy kids to think of something. Like,
Yeah.
Because I don't know that much. That's why I was just more excited to see Hulk fighting
That's why I
someone
left
that
mine
would.
like minimal.
Yeah, the Hulk versus the Hulk. Kind of wanted to see that, like.
So that was part of it, but I mean, I'm not judging that at all. The only reason I'm tipping the scale towards Sarah is because I think the most solid point was that they would never, like, the fact that you said they'd kill off the Justice League, and I know even minor characters, Marvel would be like, okay, great, yeah, that doesn't affect us, but DC would be
That's
like,
true,
yeah,
yeah.
that's a big no-no. And she kind of called you out on that, and I think that was the strongest argument against. I think you guys had very few arguments against each other's. Like, you're right, hers was very, very broad, but at the same time, I think the studios, if they were going to do this, would play it safe. And, the spirit of the argument was a movie pitch, right?
Yeah.
So if I was a studio executive,
I would win
unfortunately, I'd go
in
and say...
elaborateness. So I'll just
Yeah,
and
no, it was-
detailed for sure.
It was very impressive.
I got an A
sure.
for effort, so.
And Sarah, yeah, you played it safe, but in this thing, I think that's what the studios would want. I think they'd want something safe, kind of non-committal. It's like, hey, here's Iron Man and Aquaman. they save the world, nothing really happens.
No
that's
risk
gonna affect,
involved.
'cause
That's
they're trying
every
so
Marvel
hard.
movie.
They're trying so
And
hard
that's
to
why I
develop
wanted.
their universe.
I was saying this is innovative, right? This
Yeah,
is something
yours was
completely
definitely a risk.
different than anything ever. Right?
And I love the idea of like
Maybe a
Thanos
comic
being
book.
in it,
Or a comic
book,
or
would be
a
wicked.
cartoon or something.
I would love to see it. I think of the two movies, I'd rather see that.
Oh,
but
for
I
sure.
just think reality-wise, unfortunately, it's like they're gonna play it safe because that's what they do when it comes to two opposing teams, you know, working together. But
Yeah, and I apologize for my lack of knowledge for the names. Like
I think that
the
was
scientist who created them.
I was trying to
It's
find
like
them, I
Bardock or
couldn't find
Bardook
it.
or Burr something.
Would you hit the record thing? I'm gonna do like. All right, so Sarah is our Sinister. Sarah is our first ever victor. I promise it wasn't biased. As good as I could do it.
Yeah,
And yeah, we just thank you guys both for showing up and for putting so much work into those questions. They took a while to come up with. I was working on that for a few weeks, trying to find some stuff that I thought would be fun to talk about. So thank you for taking it so seriously. And also thank you, Screen Junkies, for coming up with movie fights. We watch them every week, and we figured we'd like to try it out ourselves. So
Go Dan.
yeah, go Dan Merle.
Woohoo!
Dick Fundy.
Hashtag DanCam.
Yeah.
So we loved it. We wanted to try it ourselves, and hopefully you guys watch this. We'll maybe give you a little message on Twitter, tell you to check it out or something. I
Yeah.
know you guys are busy though, so
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it was super fun to do either
Yeah,
way.
absolutely.
So now we gotta stitch all these little segments together, which will take a while. So.
Yep.
Anyways, Sarah, you want to say anything?
Had an awesome time. Had a lovely time playing with you. And I'm really happy that I won.
Yes. The STB Duel.
I think you did a really good job, though. I was nervous every question. I had no idea where it was. I think I said in one of them, I was like, I don't know where he's going with this. I had no idea the whole time. So, yeah, that was really fun. I was on edge.
Yeah, and you, Nick?
Shout out to all my homies on YouTube. I'd like to say thank you to Andreas for having me here. I'd like to say that I will be putting out videos on my YouTube channel that is non-existent at this point, but will exist in the
works.
future. So this is my plug. Look out for it. You'll see more of me hopefully on this channel. And yeah, it was awesome being here. So thank you.
Oh, should we shake so everyone knows that we're not mad at each other?
Oh yeah, they can think that. All
No,
right,
for
but yeah.
real though, it was super fun,
Yep.
and we're definitely going to do it again, I think, because it was so much fun. And
We'll get better and better as it goes.
yeah, hopefully, maybe we'll do something with the set. It's a little cramped in
Yeah.
here right now, but
It's a working
anyways,
process.
hopefully you guys have all been thrilled, chilled, and fulfilled. So like, comment, subscribe. Give us some more ideas for movie fights, or sorry, serial thriller broadcast duel.
Oops.
Uh-oh.
STB Duel. It's completely different.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, this was an awesome time. So thanks, guys, and we'll be seeing you again soon.
Yay.